I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My first set of wheels that I ever bought for my 98 Eclipse, not even sure that they were even aftermarket wheels, they were just something different. They were some Craigslist specials, and yes, this is before Facebook Marketplace was even a thing. All I knew is that they were 17-inch wheels, they were black, and they came in my bolt pattern. Looking back on it now, I have no idea why I was willing to spend $600 on them like it was a good idea. I'm lucky that they even fit the car. To be honest, that they even worked. I mean, barely, they barely worked. They probably rubbed something free. But so now years later, after all of that and a couple, 2, 3 legitimate aftermarket sets of wheels later, I'm here sitting in front of this camera to hopefully save you guys from the same situation. I'm Giles from Fitment Industries, and today we are bringing you a complete quick guide to buying your first set of aftermarket wheels. Real quick though, before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It helps us out a ton and it allows us to keep making videos just like this to help everyone out. Other than that, once you get done watching this video and know everything that you're ever gonna want or need to know about picking up your first set of aftermarket wheels, don't forget to help you out. Stop on over to fitmentindustries.com to check out all the wheels, tires, and suspension that we have available for your car. Anyway, the very first thing that you are going to want to take a look at is exactly what is going to fit your car. You're going to need to know a few things before you even start looking at wheels, because I'm telling you, one of the worst feelings in the world is, finding a set of wheels that you really, really like, and then to come to find out that they don't make it in your bolt pattern or your size that you need, and you're just hooked on them, you can't get them out of your mind. So to save you from that heartbreak, the first thing that you're going to want to do is figure out what size and offset wheel you are going to need to run. The absolute best tool for this is our Fitment Gallery. It's a free tool on our website that you can punch in your car and see hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of what sizes other people are running on their cars to help you out. It tells you everything you would ever need to know as far as what diameter the wheels are, which width, what's the offset, what's the tire size, the suspension setup, whether it's rubbing or not, whether the fenders are rolled, whether there's any additional suspension pieces to help dial in camber or anything like that to get the wheels to fit. It gives you a first-hand example with multiple pictures to show you exactly what that setup would look like on your car. Diameter is probably one of the easiest parts to figure out. Typically, everyone has an idea right out the gate what size wheel they are going to run on their car, and usually it's about 1 or 2 inches over the stock size. The really important pieces that come into play here are your width and your offset of the wheels. This is really what's going to affect your fitment. Offset is the distance in millimeters that the mounting surface of the wheel is offset from the center of the wheel. A positive offset, let's say like a plus 35, will be 35 millimeters towards the outside or face of the wheel from the middle of it. Whereas a negative offset, let's say a negative 35, for example, would be the exact opposite, 35 millimeter offset towards the inner barrel of the wheel. A more positive offset will make the wheels sink into the wheel well more, and a lower offset, sometimes negative offset, will push the wheel towards the outside of the car. And this can get a little confusing, but the best way to look at it is to imagine like a number line from plus 50 to negative 50. The further down the line you go towards the negative 50, the further the wheel will sit out. This is really easy to see on wheels with a lip. You can look at the difference between an 18 by 10.5 plus 35 and an 18 by 10.5 negative 12 and really see the massive difference in the size of the lip of the wheel. So for those of you looking for some deep dish wheels, offset and width is going to be what you're going to want to look at the most. At the same time, offset also affects your back spacing, since a higher offset or less aggressive wheel with that less aggressive offset brings the majority of that wheel in towards the car. You want to make sure that you have enough back spacing or room in your wheel well so you're not hitting or rubbing on any suspension components. Another key thing in here is that it will kind of change the overall look of the wheel too. If you have a deeper wheel, it's going to look more aggressive. Now I know that was already a ton of information and it was like the first thing we talked about, but I promise you it's not that bad. You got this. Just take a look at the gallery. You'll start to piece it all together. So now you know what size wheel you want to go with. You punch in those sizes into the search filter and you're hit with pages upon pages of different wheel options. And you see prices ranging pretty much all over the place. Some wheels coming in like $700 for a set. And then like right below it, there's another set for like $7,000. And you're probably thinking, why? What's the difference? Why is this one so much more expensive? Well, the main difference between these price points is going to be how those wheels are manufactured and what brand they are. When it comes to wheel manufacturing, you have basically 3 different types of wheels that are produced. First, you have your cast wheels, probably the most common wheels out there. These are going to be your entry-level price point wheels, typically around that $600, $700 to $1,000. Next, is your flow formed, flow forged, rotary forged, whatever term that company has coined for this process. There are a ton of names for it, but it's all the same process. The face of the wheel is cast, just like the cast wheels are. However, instead of casting the entire shape and barrel of the wheel, only a portion of that barrel is cast. And after that process is done, the wheel is brought over to a machine that heats that portion of the barrel and stretches it and forges it out into the rest of the barrel and its final shape. Not only does that make a stronger barrel, but it also saves weight since the wheel is using a lot less material to make. Typically, these are the wheels that you'll see land in that $1,000 to $1,400 price range and include some of our favorites like Enkei, Kansei, Artisa, Koenig, and HRE Flowform. This process is becoming more and more popular as the past few years have come on and is the best bang for your buck when it comes to the wheels. And then sitting at the top with the highest price point is going to be your Forge and your Forge multi-piece wheels. These are going to be your strongest and sometimes your lightest options when it comes down to aftermarket wheels, as well as allowing you to get really custom with them. Multi-piece specifically. Multi-piece wheels are usually made to order and can pretty much do whatever you want with them. You can change the color of the hardware, the color of the face, what barrel you want to go with, what type of lip you want to go with. However, this is what drives that price up to what it is. Tip number 3 is to keep your tires in mind. Tires play just as much of an important role into your fitment as your wheels do. You can pick the perfect wheel specs, but if you got some big old balloon tires or rubber bands with a bunch of wheel gap, it's going to look a little bit funky. Again, you can use the gallery to help decide what size tires you're going to need to run with a specific wheel size and suspension setup to make sure, you're not going to look like a nerd. Good news is as well, you can package those tires with your wheels together through our website. We'll mount, balance, and ship them all for free to your door, so you can just throw them on your car. Make the process real easy so you don't have to go fight some guy at the tire shop to mount your 215s on your 10.5 wides. The final tip I have for you guys today is to keep some of the accessories in mind as well. Most aftermarket wheels will require you to swap out your OEM lug nuts to an aftermarket lug nut. So make sure you have some ready to go when you're about to throw your wheels on, or it could just make for a disappointing day. Nothing worse than getting some brand new wheels ready to go on and you throw them on and then you find out that you can't actually do that because your lug nuts won't fit. Hub-centric rings are also another important piece to keep in mind, especially for your Euro guys out there. Wheel companies usually pick a singular hub bore that fits majority of the cars when they're manufacturing wheels, but unfortunately doesn't work for all cars. Hub-centric rings are a cheap way to make sure that the hub bores match up to your car to make sure you don't have any slop in your wheels. So there you have it. Those are some quick tips that are very important to keep in mind when you're searching for your first set of aftermarket wheels. Thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to hop on over to fitmentindustries.com. We got calculators, we got blogs, we got the gallery. We have a whole bunch of other tools over there to make sure that your first experience picking up an aftermarket set of wheels for your car is going to be a good one. Other than that, you can check out all the other videos that we got listed out all over the Fitment Industries YouTube channel. I'm Gels from Fitment Industries. We'll see you later. Peace.